Hey everybody out there, this is Kevin O'Connell with the Niche Movement Podcast, Episode 7, Part 2 of 3 with a phone call with Stacey Campese, who's a good friend and life and leadership coach, helping young professionals challenge their status quo by finding career confidence and clarity. That's exactly what she's doing with me in this phone call. So if you haven't had a chance yet, check out Part 1, where we kind of talk about the ups and downs so far of the last month or so of my business. Even though I've been going at this for 7 or 8 months, there's a lot of things that I still want to do and push myself with being a solopreneur with some part-time help. It gets really, really tough. So definitely check out this second part here, because we're actually going to talk about genuine marketing, putting yourself out there kind of at the right place, right time, and just genuinely wanting to help people out versus going the cold email route and kind of really trying to force the situation. It's more about serendipity and looking for the opportunities. And one of the biggest things I realized is most of my clients so far in the short 8 months of the success of the digital side has been, I think 75% has been just being at the right place or helping the right person at the right time and then getting that recommendation. So again, this is a really good call. It's about 20 minutes long, just like the first part. We'll release the third part right after this next week. And again, tweet us your questions at Niche Movement or at KOCO83. We'd love to answer these questions. After this, we're going to go a little bit more into the book side, into the career development. But if you want to talk about leadership, entrepreneurship, branding, marketing, social media strategy, please get me those questions, and I'd love to answer them and make a whole topic around a show for that. So again, this is part 2 of 3 with our phone call with Stacey Campese. Enjoy it. Thanks.
But I also know that I'm only 7 months in. This could change in a year. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look what you've accomplished in 7 months. You've been sufficient for 7 months. Amazing. Not many people can see that, right? Especially their first 7 months of business. It wasn't like you were doing this for years and years full time, and then all of a sudden the tipping point happened.
Yeah.
So you have that capability already. It's just recognizing it. And so I'm wondering, how have you done it for 7 months? What's been your most successful methods to get new clients?
Honestly, I would say 60 to 75% of the work I've done has been it's timing. It was being in the right place or talking to the right person at the right time, or like somebody talking about what I do. I think one of my clients I did because a couple of the pieces of work I've done is because I've research conferences or other things like that and done the whole cold approach, or I spent December doing outreach to the breweries here in the Northern Virginia area. So but the majority of my work has been, to be honest, like dumb luck, seeing something at the right time and contacting them, or meeting the person that knows somebody or needs a similar service.
So when you say dumb luck, I mean, is this like you just happen to be standing in line at Starbucks and you meet a guy who knows a guy, or, you happen to be, see that Facebook ad in the conference? Or give me a little bit more context around what you described.
Yeah. 2 examples, one that worked out, one that didn't. So back in January, when I was still being scrappy, I didn't have, I didn't have 2 of the clients I have now, but I was being scrappy, doing work on the side. But Courtney and I were out here in Crystal City, and our friend Katie Bean was down, who now lives in Philly and works at St. Joe's, but she used to work at GW. We were all out with her former GW friends, and that's where, the guy David from GW, who runs Lemonade Day, was there, and I've known him for years, and we've, had our pleasantries with each other, but all of a sudden, and not even me, Courtney's talking to him and explaining what she's doing down here, and then, what's Kev doing? And he immediately was like, oh my God, in whatever way we described it, or Courtney might have described it, he was like, wow, our business school needs that for our event. And she gave him my card. I briefly talked to him later that night, and within a week, his grad student reached out to me.
So now when she did he meet you, or was this solely through Courtney? Were you present physically?
No. This, we were all out to dinner at the same time. It's just that he was sitting next to her or something, and then we were just bullshitting, catching up, and then and didn't think anything would come of it. And then sure enough, and then the probably one of the best relationships we've had with one of our clients is them. But and then the other like piece was, you know, walking into Slater's Market here across from my house one day for a soda in the winter, and I was wearing a Rutgers pullover, and the lady's like, "What's the R stand for?" Blah blah blah, which led to why are you moving down here? What do you do? Da da da. Told her what I did, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm a small business. I know I need to be on Instagram more." Da da da. And she literally on the spot was like, "Send me a proposal." And so I sent her one. We met, but like, you know, I think it was for a small business. It was out of her price range, but so that didn't work out. But like, it's stuff like that. But that also started to make me think of creative ways that I need to be able to work with anybody in any budget and offer different types of services, which is exactly what I'm trying to work on now is how I can help small businesses to large businesses or startups. Like it's stuff like that, like just being at the right place, talking to the right person. And I think the biggest differentiator is being able to describe what I do, because I'm not a social media guru. I'm not a social media ninja. It's like I'm a digital storyteller who helps passionate people tell their story or grow their business.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
What percentage of your clientele do you currently have as a result of just meeting them or being connected through someone and sharing what you do?
I mean, right now, like definitely 75%. Two out of the three ones that I'm working with a week-to-week, month-to-month basis right now in some capacity has been just talking to somebody or because of that.
Okay, that's a great number. That's 2/3 of your business is coming from either word of mouth or you meeting somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it was interesting because you just said, you know, what's unique about you is that the way you describe what you do, right? So the actual language that you use. But I'm also curious, what else is unique about you that makes people want to talk to you?
Good question. I think it goes back to like the values that we talked about last summer, but I think we all meet certain types of people, but like when I meet certain people, I think if there's going to be an instant connection. But I think because I'm like down to earth, I'm not a bullshitter, and and I also like to just connect people. Like I'm always interested in their story more than I am mine sometimes, and that's exactly what I'm just trying to do with the niche movement, is like make this world a smaller place and try to help people realize that like you can get in touch with somebody or somebody that knows somebody else. Like you never know who you're talking to. Like, from like your Uber driver to your next door neighbor. But I think I'm a connector. I think that's the biggest thing. I'm looking, like when I meet somebody, I'm like, how can I help them? Like who can I put them in touch with?
And if I remember correctly, connection was your top value, correct?
It could have been, yeah. That's good memory. I'm not sure. I know it was like trust and genuineness and probably connection or something like that, or networking, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting, right? Because if our memories can recall, even though we're old now, if trust and genuineness and connection, or this ability to connect people, right, or connect them to you.
Yep.
As long as your top values, and you're telling me that you've gotten 75% of your clients just by being true to what you believe in.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing, and I love your feedback on this of whether or not I'm right, but I'm wondering what happens, like let's just pretend that you believed in yourself enough to know that just by going out and being you're going to attract clients.
Yeah. That's a good point.
75% of your clients, right? And it isn't dumb luck. And I can say that a little sternly since we're friends too. It's not dumb luck. It's because you did that. You created that because how many other people are walking around in Rutgers shirts, right, that either don't make eye contact or don't give people the time of day or, maybe will politely answer, but don't really invest energetically in people the way that you do. So it sounds to me like just by being you have a marketing model that works.
It's an interesting way to think about it, especially with that example you just shared. Yeah.
So is that something that you want to play around with? I mean, can you buy into this like, hey, I can just be me and get clients?
Yeah, I mean, and that for me, like if people are interested in working with me and without me being salesy or doing something, like that's the type of client I want. People I want to work with is people that's just down to earth, genuine, and we'll tell you what it's how it is. But yeah, I mean, I'm almost thinking like I think I need to figure out ways to almost. Right now we're trying various tactics and various pitches and looking at different types of business and clients and ways to connect with them. But I almost just feel like I need to create some type of platform or strategy where I just can, in the next 30 days, 45 days, just try to get in front of the most amount of people as possible. And just try to get people to know who I am instead of, through a tweet or an email. I'm not sure.
So by getting in front of people, how would that fall more in line with your values as opposed to tweeting or emailing?
I think one, it would take friction out. It would speed things up. Like you would automatically kind of know from people you meet and talk to, how you could potentially help them. Like, again, like another example, like you introducing me to Joanna, and then Joanna doing some work with Court, and then Courtney obviously doing the whole Start With Why, and now all Joanna was talking about a couple of nights ago when we were all out together was like now her office is trying to figure out how to tell their story, how to market their event. And I walked away that night, and like the light bulb just went off. I'm like, I can do exactly what I did for GW for them. Mm-hmm. And so like, I didn't want to hesitate because I got a good vibe from Joanne. I know she's passionate about what she does. Her department needs help. So like I emailed her a couple of days later. I was like, hey, can we jump on a phone call? We talked last week and she wanted me to send her more info.
Great.
So like, I think I need to figure out more ways to do that. I don't know.
Well, it's really interesting because when you say you need to figure out more ways to do that, that wasn't necessarily something you planned, right? Like you didn't go into a happy hour like I'm going to pitch to Joanne in a couple of days.
No, and again, like that's, I don't even think I wrote about that in my book, but like that's another piece, is like the serendipity piece. Like actually I think it was in the book, I think my friend Keith wrote, but it's like you never know who you're talking to. And so like, yeah, I feel like I need to, I don't know if I just need to kind of just be okay with that, like a day from now or 15 days or a year from now I'll meet somebody else that I'll do work for or know somebody that could, like, maybe I just have to be okay with it that, this will all work out, which it so far has. But like, I definitely stress it's the like, I think I've stomached a lot of good and bad. It's just the unpredictability, the unpredictability of the roller coaster. Sometimes, like, it can mess with your head, especially when you're a solopreneur or you're starting out by yourself.
Yeah, it absolutely can, especially when we're used to defining our success by money.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's really important for you to identify the other, how do you measure success? And money might be part of it, but it's not all of it, right?
Yeah.
How else do you measure it? But to kind of get back to the whole, not to get too woo, but trusting the universe thing. I mean, here it is. You're in, we talked about the two different types of energy, right? Anabolic and catabolic. You have a lot of anabolic energy. And so what that allows you to do, Kev, is it allows you to connect to people in a very real way, right? And it's really interesting because when you were, you said something like, when I meet people, I just want to tell them what I do and what I'm about, right? And I just want to share my story and who I am. And there's a name for that, right? It's called education-based marketing. So it's really interesting because it sounds like you're spinning your wheels trying to find this like latest and greatest or newest or most effective marketing technique, and you already have it, and it's called just being Kevin O'Connell to some degree. Because when you're out there and you're telling people what they do, they meet you, and because you have this animalic energy and people feel safe around you, they don't feel judged. They think you're a good guy. Like, you're the guy when you meet, like, man, he's such a nice guy. Like, he's such a good guy. But you're also really knowledgeable, and you're really good at what you do. So it's almost like you have the total package, right?
Yeah.
So when we're here, when we're in this place where we can connect to people, and when you can use your intuition, right? Because most people wouldn't have taken that risk to email Joanna and say, hey, we were talking about this, we'd love to jump in a call with you, because most of us would get caught up in our gremlins and she's never going to hire me, and that's too bold, or that's too this. But you actually use your intuition, right, and said, well, I'm getting this vibe from Joanna that this is something she'll be into, so I'm going to do it. And whether or not it actually happens, it almost doesn't matter, because you have the ability to access your intuition and to connect to people, and that's what's going to bring you the clients.
Yeah.
So we're in this, and this is what level 7 energy is. It's almost like the flow of life, where we don't really have to stop and think. But we live in a culture and society where if we're not constantly doing, we think we're doing something wrong or bad, or it's not enough. So just being feels like almost like it's like a dirty thing. Like, I can't just be being at clients. That can't be right.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, on your end, what do you think about this whole I am education-based marketing?
It's just like I'm staring at the wall right now, because it's very clear that, like, I think the more faith and trust I put into what you just said, and the more I kind of just ride the wave of the, hey, like, we might have a client or two, or we might have busy work, this, like, whatever. There's enough that I can be grateful for, and success is going on now, and workload, but I think I just need to, I might just need to realize, like, I need to take a breather as far as, like, I'll get there, like, it'll happen when I least expect it type deal. No, it's just fascinating. And I'm curious what you think, but I almost feel like I need to just utilize, like, I need to put myself in situations where I can just actually talk to people face to face. Like where I can just learn what they're doing, and then seeing what the connection of who they know, or I'm just trying to think of, like, that's what's on my mind right now, is, like, how can I use what we just kind of uncovered to, like, harness that, instead of trying to, like, craft the perfect pitch email, or have my intern look up 50 different potential clients, and I think that might work, and that might work in more scrappy times, but I think I'm somewhat doing okay. I don't know.
And that's the thing, right? You're resourceful, so if push comes to shove, you could be scrappy.
Yeah.
Money's really that tight, you'll be scrappy. But when you're operating from scrappy, it feels like shit.
Yeah.
Because you're seeking the money as opposed to seeking the creativity.
Yeah.
The creativity and the connection, that's what you're really going after, right? So when we can operate from this, all right, I'll be scrappy if I have to, but right now I just want to be. That's when you're able to do your best work and to live your best life. And so, to answer the question of, how do I do this? Well, how have you done it in the past?
So again, everybody out there listening, if you just caught this as the second part, or if you listened to part 1 and 2 so far, thank you so much. The Niche Movement Podcast, again, is a podcast that's really diving into the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, disruptive leadership, marketing, branding, and social media strategy. So again, feel free to get in touch with us, Kevin@thenichemovement.com. You can leave your comments below. You can tweet us at Niche Movement or at KOCO83, and we'll make sure to include them into our next couple of podcasts here and answer your questions or make a topic out of it. If there's anybody you think we should interview, please let us know as well. And if you'd like to get in touch with Stacy or find out a little bit more about her, you can visit her website at slccoaching.net, or you can email her at stacy@slccoaching.net. Thanks so much for listening, and please check us out next week.